So
Yeah, they're always.
All I know is I'm gonna say like, this is Tyler. This is Tyler Counts here with
Reporting live on the scene.
with
alongside with Alicia Bell.
Alicia Bell, bringing you Women's Club Ultimate.
No, you guys are pros. You guys should get paid for this.
I mean, we are right now. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I clocked it
That's
already.
the joke.
Oh God.
So like, how consistently do you have to talk? Because like, there's not always something to talk about.
I know.
There isn't. But
No, like ultimate.
I
Like,
just gotta go off what he's most of the
yeah,
time.
I'm play by play. So I'm the one that's
and
got
I'm
to come up with
color.
conversation
Oh,
stuff.
I guess we never asked
Alrighty.
if they had anyone.
We starting now? Yeah. Alrighty. This is Tyler Counts alongside Alicia Bell here bringing you Women's Club Ultimate with Pack TV today on this Sunday. I guess afternoon you can say. It's nice bright out here. NC State with the first pool of the day, playing Clemson out here in the semifinal match. Clemson seems to be running, I don't even think that's a horizontal stack right there. A little unconventional. Usually you'll see teams be running vertical stacks. I know NC State runs a vertical stack. State playing some man defense here and forcing a flick, which is very common on defense.
Still counts getting high, hammers up, and D by Rowan James.
Also forgot to mention we are alongside NC State Club Ultimate player
Xenia Boyer.
Yeah.
Xenia Boyer, fresh off some ACL surgery, should be back in January for the team. And NC State starting off with their first offensive possession of the day.
I know you want to get back in there.
Oh yeah.
I know I hate when he's sitting over here.
NC State with a great flick there, straight down the field.
Becky throws
Okay.
long to Alice Woodman. Fun fact, she is 6 feet tall.
6 feet.
Wow,
That's an impressive number there for Ultimate Frisbee player.
Rowan with the throw to Carmen.
NC State.
Is that a score?
That is a score.
Carmen with the first score of the game. NC State will be up now 1-0. If you've never watched Ultimate Frisbee before or ever played, most games are played to 15 with a halftime at 8 points. So 7 more to go till halftime for NC State.
Go Pack.
So you've been out here for both days of the tournament so far. What were some of the highlights of yesterday's pool play?
Not gonna lie, I didn't get to see a lot of it because I was helping run everything, and we got a little discombobulated with the rain and everything, so instead of all being on one field, everyone was kind of split up on 2 fields, so I had to be on the field that our team was not on, so didn't get to see us play at all.
Alrighty.
Heard good things.
Good. How did NC State finish in pool play?
We won all of our games, 3-0.
Okay, nice.
Good.
And before this semifinal game, NC State defeated UNC Wilmington Seaweed. That's their Women's Club Ultimate team there at Wilmington. And looking forward to a potential finals matchup against UNC at the conclusion of hopefully a victory here against Clemson.
So UNC and Wolfpack are like the top teams here? Or
Yes, in this tournament, UNC and NC State are seeded 1 and 2 respectively. And out of this tournament, they are the only 2 teams that went to nationals last year.
Wow, that's impressive.
All right, it looks like we're getting the arms up signal for the pool. NC State with the pool, ready to get on defense.
Danielle Sawyer with the pull out of bounds.
Hate to see that happen. We'll be bringing that up to.
The brick, yeah.
Okay. Clemson running a horizontal stack with, it seems like a 3-style handler right there. Interesting. They're right there, but a great catch from Clemson.
Ruled down, not a catch by Clemson.
Well, then never mind. State back on the offensive.
Clemson now running a zone with a either 3-man cup or a little junkie. Oh, 4-man cup.
The cup, one of the hardest things when I was playing to break. You got to swing that ball around. You got to swing the disc around the handlers pretty quickly to hope to get something open. But once that cup's broken, it's
out.
pretty much free field.
Overhead.
Disc thrown out of bound there from NC State will be Clemson's possession on the sideline.
Clemson with the upline. Stall count has to be getting high.
And there's a score from Clemson.
Score.
That is now 1-1. Tie game out here today. And on the field right beside, I don't know if anyone could see that through the broadcast, but we've got UNC versus Duke. So potential for some interesting finals here today at this Club Ultimate Tournament. Alrighty, so you play on this club team. During these times in between points, what usually does your coach tell you when y'all are lined up?
Normally, if it's any little fixes, then he'll tell us things how to fix that, as in like maybe we're not stepping the way we should when we throw, or maybe we get caught off of the wrong side of defense. So just little things like that is normally what he tells us. Or if we're running anything special, like maybe we're going to force backhand instead of flick, or if we run a zone, then he's probably going to tell us things to make sure we do. But that's about, between the points, it's pretty short compared to if we call a timeout or halftime.
Right. How often do y'all substitute usually? Is it every point usually?
So it kind of depends. In the fall, we're a little looser. We're doing these things called pods, which either one or two people per pod will go out on the field at a time, and you kind of just rotate between that.
Okay.
I think we might be doing every 1 or 2 points, switch it up.
Okay.
Order.
But normally in the spring you have like tighter lines, like this is your offense and this is your defense.
Right.
Okay.
That was a nice pull there from Clemson to start back up the game, and now seems to be running a man. So Clemson's been switching it up so far with the zone and man. You guys trying to figure out which one's going to be the most effective. A risky
Punchy D
throw
on
there.
the handler.
Very risky throw there, deflected by Clemson, so it's going to be Clemson's ball disc. And just a poorly timed throw there from Clemson is going to be giving it right back to NC State. NC State's running a vertical stack, and they seem to have two handlers running in this situation.
Centering pass to get the disc off the sideline. Working deep in our own end zone.
Nice pass. NC State.
Great concentration there from number 26. Hold on to that disc.
Might be going deep. Oh. Centering pass to Tormey. Good break throw by NC State, but we throw it away.
Lost it.
Be Clemson's possession again. That's honestly probably the most interesting thing about Ultimate Frisbee is, unlike most sport, like similar to basketball, as soon as possession is lost, you got to get right back on it, because your goal is to score as quickly as possible here. Try to catch the defense. A little laxed, I guess you could say there. But NC State possession, they'll bring it back up to the goal line. As you just saw there was a little bit of a stumble there from NC State. Field conditions out here do not look that great. Been a lot of rain these past few days here on campus.
As good as nice weather out today. The sun's out.
And that is a D by Clemson.
So playing for NC State, what are probably your three biggest keys to this game to make sure that secure a nice W for Club Ultimate?
Against Clemson, a big thing is they run zone a lot. They seem to have switched off on that after the first time they ran it. But if they continue to do that, definitely moving the disc effectively in the zone and just finding the holes in the cup is going to be big for scoring against it.
What has been you guys' strategy for winning?
Mainly we just gotta, it's cheesy, but we gotta play our own game. We just need to work hard, fundamentally do what we want and should do. But we've had some misconnections kind of like that where we just need to settle down sometimes and just do what we need to do.
Right.
Defense is also going to be big in this one because Clemson likes to run a lot.
Right.
Okay.
It's one of the biggest things, being able to keep up with your defense.
Puck goes up. Jody Robnett with the D. Good pressure.
Great pressure there from NC State.
Nice pressure.
I guess the coolest thing about Ultimate Frisbee is there are no referees. So every call that's made is you got to respect the call. It's called by the players on the field. Even scores or catches near the sidelines, kind of judged by the players.
And only the players on the field, so the sideline cannot say anything.
Exactly. That's one of the most, I guess, crucial things, is being able to not only pay attention to what you're doing, but what everyone else is doing on the field at a time.
Which is sometimes really hard on simple nuances like travels.
This
Great
Puck
throw
goes
there.
up by Carmen Tormey.
And catch off the deflection.
Catch by Lisa
there.
Keller. NC State pushes downfield in the end zone. Centering pass, break throw to Carmen Tormey for a layout and the score.
catch.
Beautiful, beautiful catch there
Score,
from
NC State.
the captain.
Carmen Tormey.
Yes, Carmen.
That's cool.
Great effort there. Hang on.
Oh,
I guess they're not going to rule that a score.
it must have been, she must have dropped it then. But did it look cool?
It looked wonderful. I mean,
We get it back.
Clemson gives up possession right away, and that's something we see way too often so far in this game. Is you're gifted possession off just unfortunate circumstances, and then you throw it right away.
Disc off the sideline. Carmen
Great
Tormey gets it
catch.
back.
See if we see a cut from the stack there, and we do.
Oh,
Ooh, and great
Clemson
defense there
good
from
pressure.
Clemson.
Brought back Clemson.
Clemson possession again.
So with a great pass there in the middle through this man. Drop right there. And usually you don't see many drops when you got both hands on the disc. It's usually something you see with a one-handed grab. So that's a little scary to see that from Clemson. Maybe something they should look forward to fixing throughout the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you can't have silly mistakes like that when it's going to be a close game. And that was, what's her name? Katie Kabrilovich to Jen Bradley for the score.
That was right. Another NC State Wolfpack score there in this match. So it's going to be 2-1. And NC State's going to be ready to have a pool in the next coming moments. And so from what I've heard is with Ultimate Frisbee, the fall isn't really the main season of Ultimate. It's really everything big happens in the spring. So using this tournament, what are y'all trying to figure out within the team and figure out just for the rest of the year going forward to hopefully national championships in May?
So the fall pool play, we were a lot looser. We're just trying to get some reps for the rookies. Just a lot of us have never even played before coming to college. So just really exposing yourself to the sport and like learning the rules and mechanics. That's mainly what we want to do in the fall for the rookies and get them ready to like be game ready. But in the bracket play, we've started playing tighter lines. They're not exactly the pods that I was referring to earlier, but not exactly set offense or defense lines.
How many exactly rookies do you have on your team?
So we have a pretty decent sized rookie class. I think we have maybe like 5 to 8, and of course 7 players typically play on the field at once. So pretty good. Last year I think we only had 2. So, and we're graduating, I believe, 11 people. So we're definitely going to need the upcoming class. NC State with the pull. Clemson running a side stack, looks like.
Cuts up there. That's a great cut and great catch with the NC State body on the back there.
And that's a big body. That's our 6-foot player.
Every time you say that, it just amazes me. Like the height advantage there is just got to be unreal, especially even with a wingspan that you have being 6 feet.
It's hard for you not to look at her.
Yeah, she's a great team target.
Out, yeah.
Definitely not somebody that you want to match up against on defense.
Right.
Exactly. Too often
Clemson with the crossfield pass into the end zone for the score.
Score Clemson.
So far, this game only 4 points total, and it's 2-2. Seems like this is going to be nip and tuck all the way today.
Yeah, that's going to be it's going to be major. Whoever gets the first break it's going to be some great momentum, especially if you can get it before halftime. And for those that don't know, a break is when you start on defense, get the turnover, and then score.
Has Clemson ever been one of your biggest competitors?
So we normally, the past couple of years, we've played them a lot. Sometimes closer than others, but like we definitely have somewhat of a little rivalry in there.
I mean, hopefully y'all are looking for some to avenge what happened last Saturday with football.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd prefer
We're
not to talk about it.
I mean, I don't want to talk about it either, but like,
that.
we're playing Clemson here. There's a good chance to kind of avenge that defeat, try to get a victory for NC State against just Clemson in general. You know that this game's important for y'all because it means finals appearance next. Great for this tournament, which is, I believe is hosted by y'all here on campus. So see NC State in the finals in a hosted on-site tournament would be probably the best thing for y'all and just moving on for the season.
Yeah, it'd be great to get the tournament win. We've actually hosted this tournament every year that I've played, and I'm a senior right now, so the past 4 years, and we have never won it. I don't know if we've even made it to the finals, so even just getting to the finals would be great.
That's going to be Clemson with the pull here.
Low pull.
Very low pull, but
travels fairly well though.
Got some good distance on that. I mean, this stop straight. Sometimes you can get lucky and get a nice little roll off those, but ooh. Risky throw there.
Throw was too.
Carmen just could not get on the end of that that pass or the throw, I should say. NC State still forcing the flick, seems to still be in a man defense. So far, Clemson has not really had much issue beating them off the man. Another great grab from Clemson. Not sure what player that is, but she's been on the receiving end of, I believe it's 2 points now. So back to back, and Clemson's got the lead.
Yeah, I also do not know her name, but she is probably their best player.
Sure does look like she is as of right now. So that's going to bring the score to 3-2 in Clemson's favor. We're out here at the Women's Club Ultimate Tournament. For those of you that are just joining us, Tyler Counts alongside Alicia Bell from Pack TV, and also alongside NC State Club Ultimate player
Xenia Boer.
Xenia Boer. So far, this game has been very close, nip and tuck. Nothing really, I guess, huge for either team right now. No big momentum swing yet, but Clemson does have the advantage 3-2 as they get ready for this next pool. Starting to get a nice little breeze out here. I'm trying to just figure out how that may affect the throwing style and the way that disc will be going. I guess what do y'all think will be probably the key to focus on with this wind?
So,
the slight breeze we have going on today.
Wind direction plays a big part in how you're going to adjust your throws. Wind in general means you're definitely going to have to snap your wrist and put a lot of spin on the disc. And depending on whether you throw into the wind or with the wind, or if the wind goes crossfield, there's just so many different adjustments that you could do based on that.
Yeah, I just think throwing light here with the wrist, it won't get you anywhere. I just think if you throw fast and chuck it, and I think it would go against the wind here.
Oh yeah, you throw it real soft, the wind's gonna eat it up if it's pretty bad.
It's gonna go.
I mean, also the wind's gonna play a factor on how you read the disc as well. On being a receiver out here, you're gonna have to be able to kind of figure out where that wind's gonna carry the disc, make sure you're there to try to corral it.
Sometimes, yeah, you can't even tell the disc if it's super high. It hits a wind patch that's not even like on the ground, and super unpredictable. But you always gotta stay with the disc because of that.
You can't control it either. So
Clemson is running their 4-man cup again in their zone, and so far NC State's been able to kind of swing that disc around. So, and a great deflection there from Clemson, but caught back from NC State.
Ooh, NC State turn.
Is it Jaeger?
Yes.
So now Clemson's back on the offensive. NC State running a man D, and not sure what they're flicking or forcing right now. It's flick a backhand.
It should be flick. That's typically what we force. But what you see just now was two players got the disc seemingly at the same time. If they agree that it was at the same time, the tie always goes to the offense, which looks like is what happened.
So that means that Clemson still has the disc, and a great throw there.
Disc up,
and another great snag. Still don't know who that player is for Clemson, but they have been on the receiving end of 3 of the 4 points that Clemson has right now. And that's going to put Clemson up 4-2 on NC State here in the semifinals of this Women's Club Ultimate Frisbee Tournament.
Seems like NC State and Clemson are very comfortable with each other, or they know how to get under each other's skin, or that's what it seems like here.
Yeah, we're very familiar. Their play style has kind of changed over the past couple of years, but we're vaguely familiar at least with them, and we know that they want to run the zone, so we know a good bit about them. But
so run against the zone, I know one of the biggest things is trying to break that cup they got around the handler, but for everyone else, what's going to probably be the biggest key in breaking that zone? Either deep cuts, short cuts. What should we expect from NC State in that aspect?
So typically, some people might think that the deep throw might be the best way to get it open. Which, if you're an amazing thrower and you can do that, then go ahead and do that. But that throw is very hard to do when you have basically 4 people around you, and you gotta put it at least most of the distance of the field. So it's really gonna be big about getting poppers, which are people in the middle of the field, kind of crashing into that cup to try and take one of those defenders away, or to just try and find a hole in the cup and try and get the disc to penetrate the cup.
I remember back when I was playing Ultimate in high school, we faced a team from like Mooresville or something. They played a cup on us in our first playoff game, and it was really windy, so it really hurt us a lot because we never played against the zone before, and so kind of having to learn on the fly there hurt us. As a matter of fact, we even lost the game, but the first instinct that most of our handlers had was as soon as they got it, even if the cup was there, was try to throw it and hook it deep to one of our receivers. And it worked a few times, but most of the time we'd get caught with it either clipping somebody in the cup, and we just couldn't really figure out a way to control the disc around there. So, like you were saying, beating the cup is got to be the first and most important thing in defeating a zone here in Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah, and a zone in windy conditions is very popular, just because you said it's way harder to throw and kind of easier to make those little mistakes when you have a lot of people around you, like a cup would be.
Clemson here with the pool.
I believe that was a break the last point. Clemson started on defense and ended up scoring.
Now Clemson's back in a man defense, so they're really switching it up here for NC State, which means that on offense for NC State, there's going to be a lot of change in how they're going to run today.
And I think they might be forcing middle, as in the force changes depending on which side of the field you're on.
NC State.
And a great snag there from Captain Carmen on that nice throw, seemed about from midfield almost to the back of that end zone. So NC State gets on the board again. It's going to be 4-3 with Clemson still in the lead.
I think what works for NC State is getting that disc quick with the swiftness across the field, and that's what happened here. Very quick with their hands. Very quick with their hands, and it was very swift, and that's what got across the field and led them to score.
So right now we're just waiting on NC State to get set up for this pool, and Clemson seems to be ready here in the end zone.
Looks like a little words of encouragement from our coach, Eric Martin.
So with NC State just down a point, it's not like this game is out of reach for them yet. And in Ultimate Frisbee, games never really, in my opinion, can get out of reach until you're down by at least 4 points. But anything in this game can be a momentum swing. Like if you have a lot of, I think it's breaks is what you've been describing, where you pull and then you get the disc right back and you score. If you get just like 2 or 3 of those, momentum change is tremendous. Pretty much just playing lockdown defense on Clemson here and get you to the finals almost.
Yeah, as you mentioned, those breaks, depending on how high profile the game is, one break can really do it for the whole game. But I believe this game will be more of a scenario where even if a team gets down 2-3 breaks, they'll still be able to come back if the other team doesn't watch out.
Great pull there from NC State. Pretty much covered the entire distance of the field there.
NC State coming down on their man D, forcing flick still. Clemson looks like they ran that side stack again. Interesting, NC State runs a side stack. We haven't really done it so much, it's more of a spring thing, but Clemson is the first time they're debuting this since the past couple years I've played them.
We've got Clemson just moving the disc down the field so far. NC State forcing flick and still running the man. Maybe at halftime you may see a potential change in defensive strategy here.
And
another snag. Like this is unreal from this Clemson player. At least all but one of the points has come on behalf of the receiving end from her, and that's going to put Clemson up. I believe it's now going to be 5-3, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got 3 points for Clemson till halftime, but NC State could potentially get back on the end of this and maybe score 2 quick ones here and make it a tie game again before half.
Yeah, it's really gonna come down to defense because we do need to score whenever we get the disc on offense, but we just need to work harder on defense. And whatever player we have that's going to be on that receiver, you just have to be really aware.
I know in a lot of sports you'll have this one player that's usually the best one on the field, court, what have you, and one of the biggest things is playing prevent. You have someone that just stays on them the entire time, whether you're running zone or man, it just prevents them from getting the disc, the ball, or anything. And that may be something that NC State could look forward to, putting our 6-footer against that star Clemson player.
Definitely.
Just trying to prevent her from having an impact on this game.
Yeah, I think also if I was playing against her, I would definitely try to back her or stand more towards her end zone because she seems to be wanting it deep, so I'm going to try and take that away first and foremost, because if she goes under and gets the disc, at least she's not in the end zone.
Right.
We just need some more distance in this disc from NC State. Clemson seems to have that long distance in the disc, which is getting them in the end zone to score.
Clemson comes out in the zone again. Great diving catch by Jen Bradley.
Going back to one of the handlers. Clemson's got an interesting zone cup right here. Can't tell if it's just it seems like they're running like a 5-man cup almost.
It looks like maybe like a 3-3-1 or a 2-2, or it's like kind of a junky cup. It's a very large cup though, making it kind of easy to hopefully find those holes where that disc just went right now. Yeah.
And one thing we probably could look for is a nice cut from the people that are still staying kind of far out back into the disc to try to even break up this cup some more. And another just missed opportunity there from NC State on that throw to the sideline. It's going to be Clemson disc.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, we have to get the Ds when we're on defense, but also when we have the disc on offense, we have to value. And Danielle Sawyer with the D there. Carmen Tormey wants the disc. Danielle does not pass it. Throw into Jen.
Great throw there. Sets him right up there on the goal line. Just right, looking for the right cut almost. And that's a great pass and catch there for the NC State score. It's going to put NC State just down 1, so it's going to be 5-4 now. Just waiting for that pull to get back on the defensive and hopefully catch a nice break here for NC State.
Coach is giving them a lot. I see what he's trying to give them some pointers going for the next pull. How does he speak to you guys? Is he harsh? Is he more, constructive criticism? Like how does he talk to you guys?
Eric's got an interesting coaching method, but I think for our team it's like kind of perfectly tailored, whether or not it's perfect already or he just kind of coaches us and we get used to it and then it just gels anyway. But like he's very tough lovey, but not like in a bad way. Not like people say tough love, but that just means like their coach is mean. But like no, he loves us and he wants us to do the best. But he's like he's gonna call us out if we do something like we like why did you get beat deep? Like just like, but he knows all of us pretty well, so he knows that who exactly could take that and like he knows how to tailor what he's going to say. So maybe whoever, if they can take that, he's going to say, why'd you get beat deep? But if not, he might approach it a little differently, like, hey, so this happened. I know you know it happened.
So he approaches his players
he kind of
differently on how you are. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the greatest method there. Coaching just in general is being able to like figure out your players' abilities to like take criticism and learn the game and tailor your methods to each player individually.
Right.
And it takes a lot of time on his part as well. Like it's not something like you can just go into practice day one, know how everyone's going to be. It takes time to actually get to know the players. And I guess it's probably the best thing about building team chemistry within a club sport here, or even just a D1 sport at any level.
NC State with the pull. Clemson looks like they might be coming out in that side stack again. And this is typically their play. They've run it about a couple times.
And another score from Clemson.
It looks like we did try and adjust, and we did put our 6-foot player on, but it really is, when we pull it to them, it's the same play over and over again. They are setting up typically on the right side of the sideline. One cutter cuts in, and that cutter is going to throw deep to that blonde girl who is cutting deep, as we've seen like 3 or 4 times now.
Every point it seems like is that she's on the receiving end, and it's after a nice little cut short and then turn it right back and go straight to the end zone. And it seems to be beating NC State like every time.
But see, since we know that, what should we do different? To make a change for that to happen so that we can score? Because if we already know they do the same thing over and over again, we got to change it up. Yeah,
a big thing on that is, like I prefaced earlier, it's going to be player recognition. You got to know when you're going to defend her that that's going to happen, which our player that just got scored on, she's a little younger, like, so you just, like, we probably just got to tell her, like, hey, it's going to happen. Like, I don't know, like, it's kind of harder to realize stuff, so maybe when you're playing, like, you don't realize that it's the same play over and over again. So if the recognition isn't there, then someone's just got to tell her, and you just got to be ready for it. And like I said, just maybe standing a little more behind her, closer to the end zone, so like if she does get a step on you, you're still right there because you had those couple extra steps behind her.
Right.
So right now, I believe the score is 6-4 in Clemson's favor. And just got the confirmation that that is the correct score. So 6-4 Clemson. Disc is going to roll out of bounds. Don't know if that's going to be a brick or not.
I think it might have landed in. If it landed in bounds and rolled out, then the disc will be taken at that sideline, which it looks like it did.
Alrighty.
All right, it looks like that interesting zone from Clemson is on again.
See how NC State responds to it.
Yeah, it looks like we've been getting a little flustered from that, but let's see if we can adjust and convert.
Have y'all had to play against the zone so far in the tournament play of this?
I don't know if we've played against a zone in this tournament so far. We practiced it a little bit in practice earlier this week, but mainly just in the concept of this is what a zone is, this is what we should do to prepare for it.
Okay.
But nothing too in depth, mainly just to tell rookies what it is and tell them it's okay. Like, it's not some confusing thing.
Right.
Which it is, but it'll be all right.
So what do you see yourself? Do you see y'all probably if y'all like just how much Clemson's been playing this against y'all? Maybe practicing it some more this week. Actually getting some practice going against the cup and just figuring out how to break that zone.
Sorry, they just yelled crumble, which means they were trying to drop into man, which we might have capitalized on by our captain scoring for NC State.
Good job there, NC State.
So you said the term crumble. Is that usually is that like a code name for most teams to just switch up defense?
Yeah, a lot of teams will use. They might use different words, but a lot of teams use the same words like crumble or fire. There's typically a specific word that you use to transition from a zone to a man D. I think most teams, they just transition from zone to man once you really get into that end zone. But yeah, typically they have a code name. Crumble and fire are pretty common.
All right, that's going to put NC State back on the board there. And that's going to bring the score to 6-5, I believe.
That's correct.
So we're a total of 5 points, maximum 5 points away from halftime here at this semifinal match between NC State and Clemson here at this women's ultimate frisbee tournament, club ultimate frisbee. Worst case scenario, Clemson gets there in 2 and we'll be down by a pretty heavy margin potentially if we don't catch a few breaks here. Just like we've seen before, Coach Eric is out there giving some words of encouragement, maybe some pointers on just how to break this Clemson defense apart, mess up their offense. We see Clemson's, I would consider Clemson's best player out there again on this offense setup. Seen her go deep pretty much every single time, and she gets the disc.
Definitely another thing to watch on this one. I bet they're going to line up on the side. She's going to line up in the back, in the middle. Oh, no, looks like they did not come out the side stack. They're running a horizontal stack. You're still going to want to watch out for her going deep, though, which Clemson turned, but looks like our player was backing her a little bit.
Hopefully, NC State can catch this break here and pull within a point.
Oh, they've run the zone. We were setting up in a vertical stack, so we'll have to adjust to that. Oh.
And
just a simple drop.
Exactly. Simple drop is the best way to put that there. Hands on the disc and just thinking. I guess one of the most common things that I think of is thinking throwing before catching, or potentially taking a step before catching a disc. Because when a team runs a zone, you want to catch that disc and you want to be able to send it as fast as possible.
And she's there in the end zone.
And actually,
that's
different player. Clemson scores though, and that's gonna be 7-5. In Clemson's favor still here at this semifinal game.
Play.
Yeah, and those simple drops, that's just the thing that you can't have when you play at a higher level like this is. You really got to value the disc.
Right.
And for those of you just joining us, as you just heard, it is 7-5 in Clemson's favor. One more point for Clemson. That'll signal halftime here at this semifinal match. I'm Tyler Counts along with Alicia Bell, bringing you this game on behalf of Pack TV here at the Women's Club Ultimate Frisbee Tournament. And also have the honor to be here with club player
Xenia
Boyer here. Don't know if y'all heard earlier me mention, but she's off a ACL injury. Should be back for the spring, which is the heftier load in the club ultimate frisbee season with the national tournament, usually over Memorial Day weekend in May.
Yeah, it'd be great to get back there again. Like that was what was mentioned earlier. I've been out for this whole year, so I didn't get to play at all at nationals. So yeah, it'd be great to go back there again and to actually be able to play this time.
So y'all made nationals last year. Is that the first time the NC State club team has ever made nationals?
I think we've made nationals before, but I think it was the first time in like 14 years or something, a long time like that. Something like that.
So how good are the teams there at nationals? Are they like, is there like a national ranking that's done?
Yes, there's so the way that teams get to nationals is first the ruling body of Ultimate across the country, USA Ultimate, ranks the teams, and they have a top 25 ranking, and each region of the United States is divided into a region, and each region gets one bid or one place at nationals automatically, which the teams fight for. But also with every additional team that you have in the top 20, that's an additional spot to nationals that the region can fight for. So we were ranked in the top 20 last year. So was UNC. Yeah, so we had the 2 spots for the region to go to nationals, and us and UNC went to nationals last year.
So what region usually has the best teams at nationals? Is it West Coast, East Coast, North, South? Like, where is the strength of the national tournament usually found?
There are definitely some regions that are typically pretty strong. One region that's pretty strong usually is the Northwest. Got a lot of wind up there, so they normally have like pretty good throws. But there's also just kind of all-stars in random regions. Dartmouth is really good. Stanford is really good. Even if their region isn't necessarily like as high-powered as, say, a region like Northwest. But Atlantic Coast region, which is ours, has been getting up there. UNC, I think, was ranked inside the top 5 last year. We were ranked, I think, 14th going to nationals. So the Atlantic Coast region has really been growing the past couple years.
That's awesome. And that's a score there from NC State. So that's going to bring the game back to at least striking distance for State. It's going to be 7-6 now. Still 1 point away from halftime for Clemson, but NC State had that great turnover. Well, there was a turnover there from Clemson, and NC State just capitalized. That's the most simple way to put it. I believe the game next to us is the UNC Duke game, and they seem to be at halftime. Not sure who's leading that one, but I think we all can assume it's probably UNC.
Yeah.
So UNC is the was it first or second ranked team so far?
First ranked team here.
All right, so UNC is, I guess you could say, the favorite here at the tournament, but NC
not our favorite though.
But not our favorite. We're pulling obviously for NC State here, the second ranked team. Hopefully looking forward to a finals matchup, knock on wood, between UNC and NC State. But who knows what's going to happen. So far, NC State struggled against this Clemson offense. Just trying to figure out ways to force some turnovers here for the rest of this game.
Yeah, we to win half, then we need 2 breaks, which is pretty difficult to do. But if we were to accomplish that into halftime, that'd be some good momentum.
So NC State getting ready to do a pull here, just waiting for the signal from Clemson that they're ready for the disc. Don't really know what Clemson's doing right now. They're just talking.
Still talking.
Yeah, that's the thing about we don't have referees, but sometimes high-profile games will have observers, and that's a thing that the observers kind of cut down on, just the time between the points and the time between like walking to the disc. It really just speeds everything up. NC State's going to want to look out for the rightmost Clemson player that's going to go deep. I think they're going to line up in that side stack. One girl's going to come under. Oh, but she catches it under.
Great deflect, like tip snag there.
I bet she's going to go deep though.
With her wrist.
Oh goodness. Oh.
Little underthrown.
Yes, underthrown is the word to put. Is the way to put it there. Hopefully NC State can catch this break and get back into a tie game here. Be 7-7. Going into halftime. Hopefully get that 8-7 lead for State. Taking it from their own end zone. See if they get that centering pass there. Heard you mention stall earlier. How long are y'all stalls? It's 10 seconds or 15 or?
It's 10, but it's the T in 10. So if you get to like 10 at all, like any part of the word 10. Oh, deep throw to Alice Swibbit. Oh, just overthrown. But yeah, it's the T in 10. So if you go 9, that's the stall. So a stall, what happens is if the player did throw it, then obviously it comes back if it is uncontested, and then it's a turnover.
Okay.
But most of the time, it is contested, and then the stall count will drop back to 8 with the disc where the stall was called.
Okay. So it seems like Clemson here is going to be throwing out a horizontal stack with 3 handlers in the back.
Looks like we're forcing backhand instead of flick. Yep.
Moving that distance across the field.
And as soon as that ball was caught, we saw that star Clemson player just book it towards the end zone, now making some cuts back down to the center of the field, looking for that disc, and she gets it.
Yeah, that's our player just being caught on the wrong side of her.
And that's a score for Clemson. That's gonna make it 8-6. That's gonna bring us to halftime here at this semifinal game. Like I just said, Clemson 8, NC State 6, and the game will be played to 15. We're going to take a short break here from halftime. We'll be back with y'all in a few minutes. We'll come back with some potential halftime adjustments from State and or Clemson here at this semifinal game. And just a reminder, it is Clemson 8, NC State 6. I don't think I can.
How long is the break?
5 to 10 minutes.
What? Yes, Clemson's up 8-6 right now.
Yeah. I haven't been looking at that much. We just started doing like commentating stuff like 2 weeks ago. Did you used to play frisbee?
I played for 3 years in high school.
What high school?
Weddington High School.
I feel like I've heard of that.
We have a player that's on the UNC team.
What's his name? I think I know.
David Burns. He's also on the team. They were our 2 best players.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very no formal league, so we played in the league. But then we lost its schools, so now it's like non-school funded, but we're it's hard to explain.
I feel that. We did the same thing in my school. We're just a club team.
Where'd you go? Or where do you go?
I go to Enloe. I'm a junior.
Where's that at?
Downtown Raleigh?
Okay.
Yeah. You know where New Bern is?
I'm not Charlotte.
Sorry. It's close to downtown.
just make like a team itself and like play in the tournaments that they face?
Yeah. I think I'm not sure if the B team is D1. It might be like D2 or D3.
So we're going back live and
It's just estimate. It's pretty much just whenever they want to start again. That Clemson girl has scored like
she's wild. She's so good.
7 times.
Welcome back, everyone, to our broadcast here today of the NC State Women's Club Ultimate game against the Clemson Tigers. It is a semifinal match here in tournament play of the tournament, and that's a little redundant here at NC State's campus. We are here on Centennial for coverage. I'm Tyler Counts alongside Alicia Bell here with Pack TV, and also alongside NC State club athlete, ultimate frisbee player,
Xenia Boyer.
All right, Xenia. So you had the opportunity to go down there into the team huddle during halftime. What did Coach say to the players? Try to give them some encouragement and hype them up for the second half.
The main adjustment that we need to do is just effort. It seems like sometimes, you get beat under a cut, and you gotta keep going. You gotta make up the gap. You can't just let them say, oh, they scored, or like, oh, they beat me there, good job. Like, you gotta. He's just trying to make sure that we have the energy and like the effort and the actual want to win and to do well on the field.
Alrighty, so seems just like so no real adjustments other than just the effort.
Yeah, I think he's just thinking that we're not playing our game, which we aren't really. So
they are getting a little choked up because of.
Right, so it's gonna be Clemson to have the first pull here at halftime. They are up 8-6 right now against NC State, so 2-point deficit. Shouldn't be too worried right now. It's just a few breaks, just a few opportunities, some miscues from Clemson and some capitalization from NC State put us right back in this game here.
I guess the main technical adjustment, or just making sure what we do, is we are going to force them backhand because they like the flick hucks a lot. So we are going to force them backhand, and we just need to make sure we're on the right side for that. Huck goes up.
Yes.
Alice with the catch right outside the end zone. She's looking to dump probably, or they might be saying it's in. Discussion is being.
And that was a great throw there from Captain Carmen.
A great catch by 6 foot.
Yeah, 6 foot receiver, Alice Woodman. And looks like for the score.
So that puts NC State up quickly from the half. Or up on the board, I should say. They're not up just yet, but it is 8-7 now. That was just a great capitalization there. Defense kind of caught slacking off there, got the disc, and was able to quickly throw that flick down the field, and just a great opportunity there to beat your man.
Definitely a good way to start back up from halftime.
Definitely. Also great for our 6 foot receiver to actually catch that over Clemson's probably best player, to give her the confidence that she needs to go and defend her and know that she can beat her in one facet or another.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, it looked like they had them beat anyways. Like they had like at least 2 steps, 2 strides on the Clemson defenders there. It's just Clemson just got caught out. Like, that's probably the most simple way to put it there. That's gonna be one of the biggest things for Clemson to look out for, I guess, is making sure they're not letting off the gas now. I mean, the game's close again, so Clemson's probably just got to figure it out, and NC State's got to just keep applying the pressure to pull through and get this victory here.
Yeah, I tried to pump. I'm normally like a pretty loud sideline presence, and I think that's been lacking in the first half. But I told them, you can probably see them now doing our rolling cheer, NC State. I told them they need to get it going on the sideline.
Yeah, it all comes back to that effort, and if you want it, you're going to go get it.
Yeah, and it's much easier to have effort on the field if you already have it off the field.
Right.
I don't know if y'all can hear this in the broadcast right now, but the NC State sideline is being very loud and supportive right now with the NC State chant going on.
Great motivation for them.
Ooh, and a layup from
catch.
Rowan. Ooh, I think she might be out, though. It, of course, will have to be officiated by the players on the field. I think the Clemson player believes she is in, and I believe the NC State player believes she is out.
Granted, the NC State player did hit her, so maybe
she's calling a foul, too.
Yeah, calling a potential foul there, because had the NC State player not have touched her, you could have potentially gotten your toes down. Granted, I don't think that she did.
I believe it is a turn and ruled out. I don't think NC State player, though, would have fought a foul call.
Right. So that's going to be NC State disc.
Looks like Clemson is trying to trap with that zone on the sideline.
And the zone just got beat.
Like quick with this.
But just a little late. It's an interesting cup they're doing right now. Looks like a 3-man cup with 2 right off the bat. So it's like they're running like a 2-3-2 right now on defense in the zone, and it's trying to swing the disc.
Yeah, the best way to beat and tire out the cup is just to keep swinging it, keep making them run, make them run side to side. Trust me, I've been in the cup. It gets tiring if people work it.
Another thing for NC State, just make sure they find those poppers that are popping into the middle and potentially try to work down the sideline. If they have to throw a flick down the sideline because of the cup, use that to your advantage. Just throw a nice, simple flick, take your time on it, I guess. Just make sure you try to get that connection.
Yeah, NC State poppers could definitely be more active though. Right. You kind of want to work like Pistons. One goes in and another one goes in as the first one comes out. Instead, right now we're being really stagnant, and one player just sits in a hole, which is kind of harder to get a pass off without a defender there when you're just stagnant and standing there.
NC State's been able to move down the field here with the zone defense being applied. We got the captain, Carmen, with the disc there, dumps it back off. Looking for a nice cut, and there's the cut, and there's a score. NC State is back in this game. It's 8-8 now.
That's exactly what we need. We need the break to tie, obviously, but also it's going to be huge for momentum to come out of half to get the first score, which we should because we were on offense, and then to get the break after that. It's great.
Now just to see how Clemson responds and even how we respond to this game being tied up. It's going to be a max of 14 points to the end of this. Game's going to be played to 15. I know that when I played, there are sometimes time constraints. Is there a time constraint during this tournament, and if so, what is it?
Yeah, so normally in most tournaments, you're going to have what's called a soft cap and a hard cap. This tournament just has a hard cap, though, which means for this tournament, it's 85 minutes. So when the hard cap comes on, whatever point it comes on at, that's the last point of the game. So that's whether or not the point is scored in 1 minute, or if it takes 10 minutes to finish the point, you have to keep going until the point is scored.
And so with this hard cap, if the team scores and they were down in the game, they still have to catch up to get to the point, right? Is it almost like a golden goal situation, like next point wins?
So So the thing that could actually extend it past that point is if it ends up being tied, and then you're going to go to what's called a universe, which is kind of your golden goal situation, that you're going to play a point like normal, but if you're tied and it's like capped, then whoever scores that wins.
Alrighty, so just waiting on that signal from Clemson to be able to have this pull, and hopefully they can get some breaks here.
I notice our 6-foot-tall player is not on, so if whoever is on the main Clemson receiver, all the way on the right side of the field right now with their hand up, they're going to have to watch out for the deep.
That's a great pull from NC State. That's going to drop almost into the end zone. Caught there from Clemson caught it off the pool. You don't see that often.
Clemson running their host stack. We are still forcing backhand. Puck goes up, wind carries it a little bit, and deflected.
Almost caught though by Clemson.
Yeah.
That was a good effort to try to read that disc. Just that simple deflection put it off just a smidgen.
There you go.
Yeah, and NC State immediately picked up that disc, trying to move Clemson around while they're potentially discombobulated. Throw a little slow though.
So Clemson's going to get the disc back here, backed up against their own end zone. I don't know the technical term for it, but NC State were to deflect it and it were to go and catch in the end zone. That's 2 points, right?
No.
No?
Oh, it's
So
not.
what's the scenario again? Like if
if it's Clemson's possession and on defense NC State catches it in the end zone.
So that's going to be only 1 point, but it does have a term. It's called a Callahan, and it doesn't happen often, but you remember when you catch a Callahan.
Yes. I remember we had a game where our star player, who actually now plays for UNC's men's A team, and he had a Callahan. And in the league we played in, it was worth 2 points because of how rare it was. So that actually ended up winning us a game because we were down 13-14, and he ended up getting that Callahan. It was under the hard cap. So it was very lucky that it happened, and something I know that he'll remember. And I still remember that time we had, because that ended up advancing us through the playoffs to end up going and losing to a very good team that we played there. But not sure what just happened. I know
We got a score out of Clemson.
So Clemson scored.
That was a nice play there.
Let's go to Clemson the advantage. It's going to be 9-8 now.
Yeah, that Clemson play, they're really starting that huck from another not who we were referencing as their star player to another person who was also not who we think is their star player. They're really starting to like open up who they're involving in the offense, and whether or not that's because we're playing shutdown D or they're exposing other weaknesses, but they're starting to utilize more of their team, which is going to ultimately help them.
It'll be interesting to see what NC State comes up with here. Coach Eric is talking to him right now, so maybe some offensive adjustment or defensive adjustment will be put in place to get us back tied in this game and prevent a break for Clemson here.
Is there a lot of talking on the field?
Amongst the players or like that are on the field?
Yeah, like as far as your team, you know.
So like mainly from the sideline, it's big because we can't see everything on the field. So like just if we're looking at one player and not the disc, or the sideline is normally there to say, hey, the disc is up, or run deep, or something such as that.
Right. Oh.
Charity Robinette caught the deep throw, looking to dump it, dumps it to another captain, Becky.
Another dump there.
Runs off her throw. Ooh. Throw a little low, but still caught for the score by Rowan James.
Right now, this game looks like it's going to come down to the wire. It's 9-9 right now here.
Clemson, of course, has the advantage right now because it is tied and they are about to receive on offense. So it's going to be big for us we need to get at least one break to win. So defense is going to be defense, and capitalizing off of turnovers is going to be huge.
So I guess we'll mark that down as the key to the second half is catching a break and then just scoring every time we have possession.
Yes. It's the best way to go.
Now NC State is going to go down on defense. We are probably still going to be forcing backhand, and sometimes a little tricky though because the default is usually forcing flicks, so sometimes you might just run down out of reflex and stand on the wrong side for backhand force, so it's kind of something you got to think about sometimes, especially if there's a lefty because their backhand is a righty's flick, so that can get a little confusing sometimes.
Right. So as usual, NC State is now waiting on Clemson to finish talking.
Yeah, and one of our captains just asked them to hold line, and that's just to see who they can match up against on defense and to make sure that there's no confusion in that. Which can sometimes be a problem when you run down the field and there's so many moving parts and no one's found their people yet. It's hard to find your own people.
Right. Notice y'all have a coach. Does Clemson have a coach that they
So last year they did have a coach. It does not appear that they have one right now, but that could also just be like maybe their coach is busy this weekend, or definitely different scenarios that could be possible.
Seems like that was a brick from NC State, so we're going to bring it out to the middle of the field for Clemson here. Are they running? I can't tell if they're running a side stack right now.
Yeah. They do not have their main receiver on, though, so it's interesting. I'm going to look for a player to be going deep, though. Ooh.
NC State could hopefully catch this break here. They can hustle to that disc.
Great going deep and then undercut by Charity Robinette, but the disc was just not up yet. Picked up yet. Great
NC
cut.
State running that vertical stack that we've seen so far this game, and that was caught inbounds from that. That was just a great catch there from NC State.
Looks like it is going to be disputed, though.
And looks like it's going to be in NC State's favor. So NC State disc here.
Looking to dump.
Ooh. Great defense there from Clemson to spot that disc and just smack it out of the sky there.
Clemson gets downfield. Looks like they might be running a host stack.
And NC State seems to be forcing backhand.
Yes.
We used to run like, it was called a Greenville run, but it was only like 2 miles on a road.
I'm not sure what was just called there, but they just stopped still. Clemson disc again. And,
I think it was a contested stall with that throw.
And that was
awesome.
I'm not going to lie, that was a terrible throw from
Yeah,
Clemson.
you hate to see that. It was, so the scenario that just happened was on the mark, the person defending the person with the disc, they must have called stall, as in they made it to 10 on the count. It must have been contested by Clemson, which would bring the count in at 8, which probably resulted in that, as you said, pretty bad throw, like almost immediately. And to see that to end up in a score, you hate to see that.
So that's going to bring the score to 10-8 now, I believe. I'm going to check that real quick. My bad, y'all. It was actually now 10-9 Clemson's favor here. Wow. NC State's about to get the disc, so hopefully we tie it up here. Don't give Clemson this break. If you were Coach Eric, what would you be telling people down there right now? Being down 5 points for Clemson, they win the game. Like, what would you be saying? Just focus on the craft, just preventing them from getting these breaks that they've been getting so far.
So it seems like it's a recurring theme for us, though, but it's always effort, effort, effort. For Eric, always wants more effort. He being down, I think his main key talking points are going to be something along the lines of, look, this is like basically our last game if we lose. Like, do you want to lose right now or do you want to get the finals? Like, it's all about what you decide to do and make yourself do when you go out there. Technically, though, they probably are going to talk more about making sure the force is backhand both on the mark and downfield.
Since it's so much this word effort, what makes you guys have like that self-motivation to do more and to want to win? Because it's like you keep saying like you guys aren't playing hard enough. You know, what makes you guys reach your fullest potential?
I don't know. I think it's I don't know if we all honestly play at our full potential, like all of us at one time, but I'm sure Eric always says this because he knows how good we can be, and if we ever play below that, he does not accept it, basically, and knows that we can do much better and wants us to do much better. So I don't know if there's one thing that we can do to, like, really, like, effort, but... And that was an effective turn by Clemson with their zone.
And that's going to be a score for Clemson. That's going to put them up 11-9 here. And
that score, though, was all what I've been saying, though, about technically what we need to do. The mark was correct with the backhand force, but everyone downfield was on the wrong side of their girl, which made it a very easy score from Clemson.
And for those of you that don't know, the game beside this other semifinal game is just concluded. It was between UNC and Duke, and I believe that UNC won. So UNC has punched a ticket to the finals here at this Ultimate Frisbee tournament at NC State, and just going to be getting some rest, waiting to see who wins this game. Right now, Clemson's up. Tyler Counts here along with Alicia Bell, and bringing you this Ultimate Frisbee game between NC State and Clemson here in the semifinals of the Women's Club Ultimate Frisbee tournament with Pack TV, and also alongside NC State Club Ultimate Frisbee player
Xenia Boyer.
And not much to really say to dispute these two teams, other than the fact that Clemson's just been able to capitalize on a bunch of on turnovers. It seems like they have some stellar receiver out there who actually now has the disc ready to do a pull, who is counted for over half of their points in this game.
Hands up, the pull's up.
That was a beautiful pull there from Clemson.
NC State sets up in a vertical stack. Ooh.
And that's going to hit the ground.
And that's another thing that Eric has probably been telling our players. We just need to take a breath and throw. We've been miscuing and just not doing fundamental stuff that we know we can do. So probably just making sure that not have those hiccups is huge, as you can see they can result in turnovers, which can result in being scored on. Ooh. Oh, and that was a great breakthrough, but an injury, I believe, was called, which precedes everything. So that score should not count, yeah.
So that means that they're just going to reset where they
goes
were.
For NC State.
Yeah, injury stops everything on the field. Since the injury was called before the score was caught, then the injury will precede that. And that NC State player went off, another one came on and tapped the ground, which is to indicate that live play can start again. Oh, and throw is up. Oh, and just missed by defender.
So that's going to be another Clemson score there. And it's 11-9 now, I believe, in Clemson's favor. NC State needs to just have some more effort out there, from what I can tell. They had a great defensive play there, just barely missed the disc, but playing too far in front of your man can hurt you in those situations because it leaves your man wide open there in the back of the end zone for the simple grab. So just got to focus in on playing man-tight defense, forcing the flick or backhand, whatever, what have you, and just making sure they're not making mistakes. We've seen too many careless mistakes here on offense of just poor passes and dropped discs. That
way too late in the game to be doing that.
It just resulted in a Clemson points. And that's the reason we're down here right now. Like you said, Coach Eric's probably telling them effort down there right now. As you can see, he's talking to the 7 that'll be playing this next point. Trying to just get some motivation to go forward. Like, I know you guys really want to be. I know you're not even playing and you want to see them in the finals. So you know the will down there for NC State to make it to the finals is very high, especially considering the fact we'll be playing against UNC.
Yeah, and that, as I've mentioned, I don't believe we've ever made it to the finals of our own tournament in the past 4 years I've been here. So it would definitely be great to make that appearance and potentially win it all. Every year we have our rookies make a trophy for the tournament, so we've never had one, so it'd be great to have that.
NC State's now just waiting for Clemson to have the pull. Usually the team that's pulling, figuring out who they're going to guard on defense.
If it is a man defense.
If it is man, yeah. So we'll see what Clemson's going to be running out here right now, man or zone. They've been switching it up quite often here today.
Looks like it's zony. Yeah, it looks like that zone.
It looks like they're going to be running a nice little suffocating cup almost. A little different than what they've been doing.
Yeah, it also gets, as you could probably see there, a little difficult when you have multiple players in there because it just gets real congested.
Well, we're not like undefeated for the entire weekend, and then we bring in the commentators and stuff here, and
that's because I'm not over there. I'm a great sideline presence.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
NC State out here slowly and surely moving the disc up the field.
Defensively are on it.
Clemson's zone is just been very difficult for us to break, it seems like, so far. That's going to be something that's going to have to change if NC State does want to try to pull up a victory here. And actually kind of broke that zone. Could have sent something deep, decided not to, and that zone's right back there suffocating again. The use of that popper there was just wonderful. Swing pass.
Yeah, that's probably another main talking point by our coach Eric, like just key things that we need to do to, defeat the zone. That was a nice cross-field pass. The Cup's going to have to work to get there, and we're going to try and move it before they can.
Looks like the zone just was broken.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
And that's going to result in an NC State score. So NC State potentially back in this thing after that zone was broken. That's the best thing about that. You break the zone, it's pretty much free field in front of you. You just got to make sure you get the good passes there, get into the end zone. So
yep, you just got to make sure you don't throw something too quickly and they're like, oh, that's not what I wanted to throw, and then it's a turnover.
Right.
There's now Clemson still with the lead, but it's 12-10, so NC State within 2 points.
Looks like a timeout was called. Oh no, that was game. Oh, what time is it?
Game?
That point might have been hard capped.
So that is going to mean that NC State lost the game to Clemson. That's going to end our coverage here for this semifinal game. So, what do you have to say so far? You've been on the team for 4 years, never won the fall tournament. What do you think Coach Eric's going to have y'all do at practice this week? What do you think he's going to tell y'all at this end of game huddle?
I can't tell what his dynamic, if he feels like we did better the second half, but if not, he's going to say, it's like I told you at halftime, you needed to do more. You guys didn't seem like you wanted it, and that's why we lost. Or if he felt that we did do better, he's like, that was good, but it should have been like that the whole time. Main technical things, I guess, it might be zone, but we're still really early into the season, which is like we haven't been exposed to zone that much in practice, which doesn't really give us the reps against the zone. So,
how do you guys deal with recovery from a loss?
I guess with tournaments set up the way they are, so you playing 2 days and like pool play and stuff like that, it kind of depends on the loss. Some losses are obviously harder than the others. Like this is going to be a pretty tough loss, especially since this has got to be at least the 10th time we've ever played Clemson. So it's hard since we know that we should beat them, but it's really also hard to bounce back from like a pool play loss because you're still in it for like the whole weekend, and if that's a hard loss, say like if we play UNC in pool play, it's kind of hard mentally to come back from that, but you just know that there's another game that you have to play, and you just got to be ready to do that.
And at the conclusion of this game, it's now time for our Wolfpack Outfitters Player of the Game. I know I just said that wrong. I'm going to re-say that. The Wolfpack Outfitters Player of the Game. And personally, I think I'm going to give it to one of the 3 captains on the team, Carmen. She had an excellent game today. Great defensive effort, great offensive effort. Had some opportunities to handle the disc, score, and have some just suffocating defense for against Clemson. And with that, that's going to conclude our coverage here of this semifinal match between NC State and Clemson. Again, Clemson won the match off a hard cap at 12-10. I'm Tyler Counts alongside Alicia Bell from Pack TV, bringing you coverage here at this NC State Women's Ultimate Tournament. So thank you for helping us out here, providing us some player names, and best of luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
That was fantastic. All right.
Thank you.
We'll keep you on the sideline next time. We will never ask you for
Yeah, you should have forced that.
Or we'll have the commentating shows make way to the sideline.
Oh, it'll be allowed then.
Yeah. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was good, Tyler.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll see how that comes out. Work in progress, so we'll, but the checks anyways, the audio sounds good, so let's hope that it comes strong. So say hi to Brandon and BJ for me.
I will definitely.
I'll tell them I'm going to stop in and see them at some point.
Okay.
So, all right, I'm going to go get batteries, and then I'll start bringing. Actually,
what's Carmen's last name? Make sure I spell this right.
I think I wrote someone down, but it might be a Carmen. Carmen Torme.
Yeah. T-O-R.
M-E-Y.
Here, Jack, you walk. All right, thank you. Thank you guys.
Of course.
Get me to clock out.
Yeah, I'm gonna clock out. Wow.
See ya.
They said that water's on our field now. I'm sure they're back to there.